Let me talk to you about the. This is chapter 6, part 2 of the lecture part of it. I want to move on to the static method. Method can also be declared by placing the static keyword between the access modifier and the return type of the method. So, if you recall, in the past you did public, and then you would actually do double, and then that's what you would actually do to write the method. Now you put in the static word in front of it. This makes it into a static method. So when a class contains a static method, it is not necessary to create an instance of that class in order to use that method. So you don't necessarily have to create an instance of that in order to use that method. So what does that mean? So let's say you created an instant method. It's not necessary. You don't have to actually create that calling that method with it. So let me pause here. I'm going to open up the metric and the metric demo. Here's the metric. So this is your metric class. The miles to kilometer method converts the miles to kilometer distance that you should be able to pass the miles per hour. The methods returns about. So this is the miles to per hour. This is what's new, is that when you create the static right here, it returns the miles times this constant that you convert to miles. Of course, you pass across this number of miles. This miles is this mile. This one, when you actually pass across the kilometers in this thing, you put the kilometers in here. This will return back as this constant there as well. So passing across each one of these things, we would actually come across. So what's new in this is this word static right here. Okay, let's take a look at how you convert this thing across using the demo in this thing. So here's the metric demo. We just use the metric one, and we're going to use metric to kilometer. We pass it across. Of course, that sign set to kilos, and the other one is let's see, we did this one. Did they do kilometers to miles? Yeah, kilometers to miles. What was that called? Here it is. So this is kilometers to 2 miles down here with it. Again, both of these are formatted output with the proper format, with the doubles that they have in here as well with it. So so that's what that's about. That's the method with it. Okay. Here's the static methods. You need to know static methods are convenient because they may be called at the class level, which means that you can call it within the same class level that is with it. There are times you have to use a regular methods, and other times you have to use a static methods with it. They are typically used to create classes such as math class in the standard Java standard library. Static method may not communicate with an instance field, with only static field only. So static methods may not communicate with instance field, okay, only with static field. So static and static. It's like, I'll give you an example. It's like using 4K. You're at home. You bought a TV. It's 4K. Your entire system has to be 4K. You can't be projecting with a DVD. It's regular. It has to be a 4K DVD as well. So it's the whole system, the cable, the whole thing has to match with it. All right. Let me pause here for a second. So let me add in addition to the notes. This is just my notes adding to explain the difference between static methods, static fields, and when you actually use a regular void field with this thing. So this is my verbiage with this thing. All right. As you know, Java is an object-oriented programming language, which means that we need object to be passed. To access the object, we need the object to be accessed through the methods and variable inside the class. However, this is not always true. While discussing the static keyword in Java, we learned that the static member or the class level can be accessed directly without any instance, like that slide that I just paraphrased that. So in this article, or in this slides, what I should call in this let me call this in this article instead. How about in this slides or lecture notes? How's that? Is that better? We will see the difference between what's called static and non-static methods with the same. So let me create a static method class. So this is a static demo with this. I created one that's called static, and here's the copy of the argument, string 1 and string 2. I just took string 1, I just assigned to string 2. This is not really the proper way of doing the copy, but we'll talk about this later. And then if you pass across string 1 and 2, these are the two outputs that comes across. So this is the public static void main string argument with this, and then you're going to call the copy argument, which is this copy argument, and you're going to pass across XYZ, ABC as string 1 and string 2 in here. So what is the output? So if you look at the output, is it's going to come across XYZ, XYZ in this thing, and you went, wait, what just happened? I thought I passed across XYZ, ABC. No, you did. But you remember now, string 1, which is what XYZ, is going to be assigned to string 2. So string 2 now is the same copy as string 1. So the output is both the same because you just copy from one to another with it. As you can see from the above examples, for that is a static method. I didn't use any objects. It can be accessed directly by using the class name as mentioned in the comment, which I just did. Let's take a look at the other one, is the non-static one with it. Here's, I just made this one, is called a Java example with the same. So in here I created a function class that's called display. So system out non-static method. This is my public static void main. I just took this, created the Java example, which is this Java example right here, right inside of this. So I just created a new object. So if you try to access this directly, like this display, then you get a completion error. So I took this object and this, and I'm going to run this method to get this display. This will cause an error if I did this. So in my next slide, the output's going to say is non-static. Well, why did it say non-static with this? Well, because look, my output says non-static here. All right. So that's why when you actually have these two with it, and I'm following you just to walk you through this. That output's going to say non-static because you asked it to output the non-static with it, but the non-static method is always accessing using the object of its own class shown in the example above that to show you. Note how to call a static method, direct or using the class name. So if you did like static demo.copy, okay, or copy argument, all right, so you could do this. Okay, now let me back up track. You see what we just did up here was I just did, either that static demo copy class, or I could have done copy the argument with it, like I said in here with it, right? How to call a non-static method using the objects of the class. So I created an object, and then in this object, my next slide is that I had to use this obj dot syntax with it. Okay, so that's the major difference. Now, important points that I want to make a point here before I stop. Static methods can access a static variable without any objects. However, non-static methods and non-static variables can only be accessed using the objects. Very important point. Static methods can access directly in static and static methods. For example, the static public static void main method can access other static method directly. Also, non-static regular methods can access static method directly. So that's very important. That's where I want to stop this this part 2 of the video, okay?